Mo Bamba raised some eyebrows and his arms today in Chicago at the NBA Combine. They measured his wingspan at a higher number than we all originally thought. Now, wingspans are usually about your height, so let's get some examples on this. Let's start with Hema. Hema comes in at 4'11". Hema's wingspan is right at 57 inches, which is pretty much dead on. All right, let's try Chikage, 5'7". Chikage with the wingspan all the way across, right at about 65 inches, which is right at 5'7". Well done. Walt, 6'2", a little longer here, comes in at 74 inches, which again, right at 6'2". I'm 6'5", and my wingspan's 6'6". So now, just so you understand how insane Mo Bamba's day was at the NBA Combine today, he is 7'1". His wingspan set an NBA record at 94 inches. Look at this thing. His wingspan is 7 feet 10 inches. That's 9 inches more than his height. This is fitted to size too. Look how insane this is. Mo, come on, man. I'm 6'5". Bamba joked that he short-armed it today, then made it clear he's unlike anyone else in this NBA draft.
I'd say my biggest strength right now is just one word to summarize it all, is just my presence. Both offensively and defensively, the presence that I have is pretty profound, and I don't think any other prospect has this presence. It's just surreal to see that my name is even up there.
Okay, now again, here's what it looks like. Now we got to see Hema. This is the one we've been waiting for. Hema, look at this.
All right.
That's awesome.
He's much bigger than me.
We'll keep doing this during the break. Stay with us. We're back after this. Y'all come on in. Try this. This is great. Both Dallas and Houston made the NFL playoffs in 1993, and it didn't happen again until 2016, a span of 24 years. Only took 2 to get both Texas cities back in again. The most important thing about the season finale for both and the entire NFL playoff picture coming up in minutes. First, though, a history lesson. France claimed Louisiana in the 1690s. And then in 1721, engineer Adrien Despaget laid out the entire format for the French Quarter. Despaget wanted to give the rulers of France something special, so he gave them a name. The House of Bourbon. Now, we're inside Bourbon View where the 2019 Sugar Bowl party took place. But tonight, we're taking CBS Austin Sports Sunday out on the balcony of Bourbon Street. Now, look, we're not going to take you down on the street because, well, if you've been here, you know why. Welcome inside CBS Austin Sports Sunday. I'm Ballou, live in the French Quarter in New Orleans. We are 48 hours away from the 2019 Sugar Bowl between Texas and Georgia, the first meeting between these two teams since the 1984 Cotton Bowl. And where else would we start than with these two quarterbacks? The two sophomores in this game, Sam Ehlinger, the Texas quarterback, alongside Georgia's Jake Fromm. The two first met each other in Oregon at the 2016 Elite 11 camp. 2 years later, the two meet here. Fromm played for a national title with Georgia last year. Ehlinger is working to get Texas back in the national conversation. Both employ different styles. As I joked with Fromm this morning, Sam seeks out linebackers. Fromm wasn't of that mindset.
I know for sure in my conference it's probably not a good idea when you do that. So I've definitely tried to avoid that.
I'm fully aware that I'm ultimately responsible for the situation that has harmed the university as a whole and our Department of Athletics and our football program. I want to apologize to Buckeye Nation. I followed my heart, not my head. I fell short in pursuing full information because at each juncture, I gave Zach Smith the benefit of the doubt.
Remember when you were in 3rd grade and you hated social studies, but you still had to make a speech in front of the class, but you simply couldn't care less how it went or what your grade was or in any way anyone else that you affected? Urban Meyer was his 3rd grade self tonight. Meyer was a 3rd grader in his prepared statement and a 3rd grader in his maturity level. There are 300 million points to discuss following Ohio State's 3-game suspension of Meyer. 3 games for the man in grade 3, I guess. But in the end, this all goes back to something pretty simple. Forget the semantics and the details of this for 3 seconds. Victims of domestic abuse are afraid to come forward for a lot of reasons. In this case, college football is big money, and that will scare just about anyone in this situation. Fortunately, it didn't scare Courtney Smith. Unfortunately, Courtney Smith is basically pushed aside with this 3-game suspension. Courtney Smith is also why I use the term 3rd grader to describe Urban Meyer tonight. Why? His reaction to the one question at the press conference, the one single question that was about the woman who suffered more than anyone else throughout this.
What message do you have for Courtney Smith?
Well, I have a message for everyone involved in this. I'm sorry that we're in this situation. And I'm just sorry we're in this situation.
I mean, are you kidding me? Whether it was his intention or not, Meyer comes off tonight as smug, arrogant, and thoughtless. The audacity of this man to brush off Smith and include anyone else in that answer besides her is frankly terrifying. Sure, he's inconsiderate and insensitive, but there's one thing he's not: in trouble. Anyone out there really think his overall record and his 3 national championships didn't play a role in this? He had the backing of the entire fan base and the university. Imagine if this was a 500 coach that fans were ready to see gone. And once again, that's the issue. But kudos to Courtney Smith for speaking up and hopefully giving victims of domestic violence another voice, even when others try to keep them silenced. Welcome inside Sports Sunday. I'm Jason Garrett. Everything is fine. Just need to do a better job on offense and on defense. Remember this moment on Christmas Eve last year? Earl Thomas running to the Cowboys locker room following a Seahawks win and telling Jason Garrett, "If y'all have the chance, come get me." Everyone figured Dallas would find a way to make a deal to get Thomas, especially considering their need at safety. Almost 9 months to the day, no trade, and Earl was ready to prove to them it was a mistake. Cowboys' second possession, Dak Prescott tried to find Michael Gallup. Instead, he finds his could-have-been teammate Earl Thomas. 3 picks in 3 games for Earl. That set up Russell Wilson to Jerron Brown, 16 yards, 7-0 Seattle. It's 7-3 in the second when Wilson is getting it done again. Tyler Lockett sprints behind the Cowboys defense, 52 yards for the score. Seahawks up 17-3 at the half. Cowboys trailed 24-6, scored and had another shot to get it to a 1-score game, but Prescott over the middle, and you know who was awaiting. Thomas nabs his 28th career interception, and then the dagger. He takes a bow directed at the Cowboys sideline. Dallas is a mess. Cows fall 24-13. Chuck Mickatinick in Seattle on more with the bow. College football playoff rankings are out, and despite not caring, for the first time in 5 years of the CFP, Texas is in. The Horns are 17th, 4 Big 12 teams in the top 25. Somehow Houston left out entirely. If things started today, Alabama would play Notre Dame, Clemson would play LSU, and Michigan and Georgia would be on the outside looking in. But all y'all think Texas is done. Kids, you don't know how college football works. Alert, alert, it's all happening.gif, it's all happening.gif. Texas will make the college football playoff. All they need are these roughly 35 results. Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame win out. LSU loses to Bama, right here on CBS Austin this Saturday night, by the way, and Texas A&M. Michigan upset on the road by the Nittany Lions. Then they lose to Northwestern in the Big Ten title game. Don't worry about Northwestern. They'll win the Big Ten, but they'll do so with 4 losses. Georgia triple optioned to death in the clean, old-fashioned hate game, then throttled by Bama in their home state in the SEC title game. Texas OU Part 2 in Arlington goes to Texas again. Wazoo loses the Apple Cup and the Pac-10 title game, Pac-12 title game, to USC, another big help to the Longhorns because they beat them earlier this year. Kentucky loses to Georgia. Ohio State loses to Michigan for the first time in 2,557 days. Florida can literally do whatever it wants. Texas then gets help from Charlie Strong as USF upsets UCF. West Virginia Red Bulled here Saturday in Austin. Penn State loses in Madison. Utah in Boulder. Iowa loses to eventual Big Ten champion Northwestern. UT wins out. Texas is in the playoff. Now look, is all of this going to happen? Yes. Is Texas really going to make the playoff? Sure. Did you hear it here first? Don't forget it.